The movie opens with homemade videos of a couple having fun. They go to an amusement park, dance in the middle of a crowd, and have happy moments together. The girl is a pretty blonde, and it's obvious that the man is infatuated with her by the way he looks at her. While they are at a restaurant, the man says he's filming them so that she can remember him when he's gone. The man's name is Jay and he's in Los Angeles to finish his rehab when he meets the girl, Sammy. Jay is young and handsome, but troubled. His addiction to substances made him lose custody of his baby girl, Lexi. Her mother refuses to let Jay any closer to her until he gets sober and well enough to take care of a child. Being away from his child is the push he needed to change his life. He goes to Los Angeles to enroll in a rehab program that isn't as strict as many others. It allows him to go out anytime he wants as long as he abides by the rules. Jay has a completely different life from Sammy. She's the heir to a big company and her father pays for most of her things, even though she has a job. Sammy loves going to parties and having fun with her friends. She enjoys the freedom she has away from her overprotective parents. One day, she and her best friend, Megan, decide it's time for Sammy to find a man to date. They make her profile on a dating app and it's there that she meets Jay. She finds him cute and interesting. He has long, curly hair and deep brown eyes that draw people in. Sammy contacts him and they start talking. Their connection is immediate. Sammy isn't the typical girl Jay would date, not with their different backgrounds, but he's in the city for a couple of days only. He wants to have some fun to forget the fact that he can't control his own body or vices. He's struggling with addiction and is conflicted about Lexi. He wants to care for his daughter, to not leave her an orphan. But his body clamors for something to take the edge off. He's on his last days of rehab and he's trying hard to maintain his sobriety. While they talk, Jay tells Sammy right away that he's in rehab. She's surprised because he doesn't look unhealthy, but she doesn't judge him. They spend hours talking about everything, and soon Sammy has to go because it's too late. The day after they met, Jay's counselor, a man named Billy, notices that he looks happy after a long time. He keeps smiling at his cell phone, where he's talking to Sammy, and that catches Billy's attention. He compliments Jay for his progress and he's proud of him for maintaining his sobriety. Jay thanks him, thinking that can only mean that he's going to give him a good review. Billy is proud of Jay, but as a counselor, he doesn't think he's ready to take care of his daughter. Jay is volatile. He's sober, but Billy doesn't feel as if he's taking things seriously. He should be focusing on himself, not on dating. Jay gets angry at Billy and he can't believe that the man would do that to him. He was sure that his progress would be a positive point in front of a judge. The only thing he needs is Billy's assessment that he's well enough. Billy tries to make Jay understand his position, but Jay is too angry for that. He storms out and goes to his apartment to be depressed. There he watches videos of his daughter and it makes him sadder that he won't be able to see her again. He's angry at Billy, but mostly he hates himself for doing that to Lexi. Deep down he knows Billy's right. He's not ready to commit as a father yet. He has to work on his issues to give his 100% to Lexi. It's only fair to her. Jay also talks to his worried mother about how much he misses Lexi, and that her mother doesn't let her speak to him. It's a sad situation. His mother notices through his voice that he's feeling discouraged and tells him to have some fun. He sends Sammy a message to meet her that same day and she agrees. Back to Sammy, she's working at a boutique with Megan and tells her friend about Jay. Megan is surprised that Sammy is going out with a former addict, and she questions why. Sammy is very pretty and she could date whomever she wants. Sammy replies that she finds Jay different and interesting. When she's done for the day, she picks Jay up to go out with him. He demands she leaves her car to give him a proper hug. After all, it's the first time they are seeing each other face to face. Sammy begrudgingly accepts and they hug tight. It's like they are two pieces of a puzzle that fit perfectly. Jay is amazed by Sammy and how beautiful she is. He tells her that she looks even prettier than in her pictures. Sammy is flattered and a bit bashful with his compliments. They go to a bar, a place that Jay shouldn't be going to, and there they start drinking and talking. Jay wonders about a tattoo that Sammy has and she tells him that it's something she regrets doing. They also talk about his rehab and Jay admits it's a difficult process. It's a 6-month program and it's been a long time since he was last home. He talks about Lexi and how much he misses her. He even shows a picture of Lexi to Sammy and she finds the little girl beautiful. She worriedly wonders if Jay is married, but he denies it. He and his ex are just friends, though they are arguing at the moment. Jay's addiction hindered his relationship with his ex and she's protecting Lexi now. He understands her, but he isn't happy about it. As they talk, they find out they have more differences than similarities. Sammy is an only child, raised with overprotective, rich parents. She always had anything she wanted, which made her a bit spoiled. Her father wants her to work with him as his only heir, but she doesn't want to work as a businesswoman. She has no clue what she wants to do in life and feels as if society pressures them too much to fulfill roles they don't want to. She doesn't want to be the perfect daughter, nor does she want to be rich like her parents. Sammy wants to be her own person, with dreams and wishes. Jay comes from a big family with lots of siblings. He knows how to fight for what he wants, and he understands the struggle of not having money. His biggest dream in life is to overcome his addiction and raise his daughter properly. He has no idea what to do beyond that. After drinking a bit, Jay excuses himself to go to the bathroom and there he calls his ex. They start arguing about Lexi and he begs her to let him see her. She doesn't even let him talk to her. His ex denies his request and questions if he's drunk, to which he lies and says he isn't. The confrontation only makes him angry and bitter. It leads to him drinking even more when he's with Sammy again. Sammy has no idea that he shouldn't even drink. For her, his only issue is with substances, but alcohol is included in his rehab program. Jay's sabotaging himself because of his anger at Billy and his ex. He tries to smother his feelings with alcohol, but it isn't going to work. After the bar, they go around town having fun. Sammy invites him to her house, and he explains that if he's not at the rehab center, they are going to kick him out. Sammy offers for him to stay at her place since there are only a few days left for him in the city, and he accepts. When they get to her place, they get intimate for the first time. It's intimate and deepens their connection. Sammy doesn't feel as if they are strangers, and Jay shares her feelings. They feel as if their souls were lost and found each other. There's a flashback with Sammy crying over something, before moving on to when they wake up next to each other. It's not awkward as most one-night stands usually are. Sammy isn't embarrassed to be with him and Jay feels as if he's in the right place. Sammy loves photography and she shows Jay a camera she has. He starts taking pictures of her with bed hair and sleepy eyes. Sammy finds it adorable. Later on, Billy calls Jay to tell him he was kicked out of the center and begs him to reconsider. He knows the only reason Jay is rebelling is because of his self-destruction and he wants to help him. Sammy is clueless about the depth of Jay's issues. She thinks he's fine and done with rehab, so there's no problem for him to drink and party with her. Jay isn't completely honest with her and continues going on a path that is going to destroy him in the end. Sammy has to leave to go to work and she gives Jay her spare keys. She dubiously wonders if he's going to steal her when she leaves, and he jokes that he's going to steal her Harry Potter books and paintings. Sammy leaves him there to go to work, but on her way, she changes her mind. He's going to be leaving soon and she wants to spend some time with him. She calls in sick and goes back home. When he's alone at the house, Jay starts snooping. The first place he goes is the bathroom. He opens her drawers and finds the exact medicine that made him an addict. Jay stares at them in conflict. He grabs one and glares at the little orange bottle. The pills inside it can destroy him and unmake all his progress. If he takes it, he's going to lose his daughter for good. His mother is going to be disappointed and Sammy is going to be angry at him. It's a hard decision to make. When Sammy returns, Jay is back in the living room acting normal. Sammy goes to the bathroom to change and sees that he messes with her medicine. She questions him about it and he promises he was just curious. He wonders if she still takes the pills and she denies it. She took them at a dark time in her life, but she's fine at the moment. Sammy is still worried that Jay took the pills and that he's going to have a relapse. It's the first time she realizes the danger he's in. Jay swears he's better and that he changed. He's so earnest and open that Sammy believes him. Later on, Sammy takes him to the center to grab his things and Billy is there waiting for him. He tries to make Jay change his mind again, but Jay's still angry at him for his assessment. Billy has experience in dealing with addicts and he can see when something bad is about to happen. He feels sorry for Jay. He saw him progress over the months, and he was hopeful that he was going to change. Unfortunately, Billy can't force Jay to do anything. Sammy watches as Jay argues with Billy and it's very uncomfortable. Through Billy's reaction, she realizes that Jay isn't being completely honest with her about his progress. When she tries asking him about it, he immediately shuts down. He doesn't want to talk about it, he only wants to forget his issues before he goes back to reality. Despite their amazing time together, Sammy is still a stranger to him and she doesn't want to make him uncomfortable. They go to the movies and Jay puts his argument with Billy to the back of his mind. He wants to be with Sammy only and make memories that he can cherish when he goes back home. As they go around town, Jay starts filming them. They start acting like a couple deeply in love. Jay continues staying at Sammy's apartment and she takes him places. They go to a bar and Jay drinks a lot again. He tells Sammy that she's pretty and he's lucky to be with her. They start asking questions to each other to get to know each other better while they drink. Jay asks if Sammy believes in true love and she doesn't. She explains that her grandmother told her that there are 3 true loves in a person's life. Jay wonders how many she found, and she jokingly says only one. She asks him the same question and he replies that he used to believe it, but he doesn't anymore. They talk about passing away and where people go after they cease to exist. It's a summer talk, especially because Sammy doesn't think people go anywhere. Jay hopes she's wrong. When the conversation reaches an end, they gaze deeply into each other's eyes. It's incredible how strongly they feel for each other even though they have just met. The following day, Jay wants to go sightseeing with Sammy and he begs her to go. She isn't excited about it but ends up relenting. They go everywhere and have lots of fun around the city. Jay continues recording everything they do with the camera. There's a moment when they are resting when Sammy points out that Jay doesn't look like an addict. He laughs and asks what she was expecting. Sammy always thought of addicts as sickly-looking people, and Jay looks healthy and happy. She has no idea that he holds a lot of pain and suffering inside. He puts his issues in a box at the back of his mind, but they are still there. At some point, he has to open the box to deal with it. It's not going to happen while he's with Sammy. With her, he wants to show his smiles and how much fun she can have with him. When they go back to her place, they drink more and smoke. Jay finally tells Sammy his story and how he developed an addiction. He used to play football back in high school and he was really good. He could have been a professional player if he wanted to. One day, he got injured badly enough that he had to take strong medicine for the pain. He realized that the medicine made him feel good, better than he ever felt. After that, he started to get injured to get more medicine. When his family noticed his addiction, it was already too late. 10 years went by with him being addicted. Only after Lexi was born that he decided to get clean. He didn't want to be a bad father. Sammy is surprised that addiction can start easily like that. She wonders if he misses home, and he does. He misses his mother and Lexi, but being there with her is comforting. He tearfully says he hasn't seen Lexi in months, and he has been depressed and lonely before meeting Sammy. She's the light at the end of the tunnel for him and she doesn't even realize it. He's with someone who isn't going to judge him for his actions. He can act freely with Sammy, without any boundaries. The next day, they go hiking and Jay imprints their name in a cactus so they can be remembered forever, or until the plant exists. Sammy thinks it's adorable that he wants their brief relationship to be recorded. Later on, back at Sammy's apartment, she wakes up in the middle of the night to find that Jay isn't in the bedroom. She goes after him and finds him smoking. She asks why he's there and he explains that he's sad that he's going to leave. She asks what his greatest fear is, and he takes a moment to reply. He tells the story of when he was just a kid and got mud on his shoes. It was hard to clean, so he asked his little brother to clean it for him instead. Jay felt good about manipulating his brother to clean his shoes. But then he realized that his brother wasn't being manipulated. He was just good. He wanted to help him, and he took advantage of him. Jay explains that his biggest fear is not being a good person. He remembers his brother's selflessness and compares it to his selfishness. He always thought about himself first, never considering other people's feelings. Now he's afraid that he's too damaged to do any good. Sammy holds him as he cries and admits his biggest flaw. She softly tells him that she believes he's a good person. The issue is that Sammy doesn't know him well. Jay doesn't think he's good at all. His actions speak for themselves. After his heartfelt confession, they go back to her apartment and get intimate one last time. The following morning, it was time for Jay to leave. They are sad that their bubble of passion and excitement is going to burst. They had made a promise to get married when their dopamine was high, but as she takes him to the airport, all Sammy can feel is sadness. Jay wonders if she's going to miss him and she jokingly says only a little. When Jay asks for her address because he wants to send her something, she tells him that they can't have a long-distance relationship. Their 3 days together were amazing, but that's it. She doesn't see a way for them to work with him living on the other side of the country with a daughter. Sammy can't move out and Jay has Lexi to think about. It would never work and she wants to spare their feelings and end things on a good note. Jay gets upset that she changed her tune so quickly, and they start arguing. Sammy snaps that Jay doesn't know her or what she wants. Jay can't believe she's lashing out like that. She's trying to push him away so that they have a clean break. It's not what he wants. He leaves the car and demands she hugs him. She begrudgingly complies, and when they hug, he whispers that she's worthy of love. He tells her that she needs to open herself up for it, and not be afraid. She's an amazing girl, with a good soul. She deserves only the best. It's okay if he isn't the best for her. He understands. He feels lucky that he had the opportunity to get to know her a little bit. Sammy is speechless. She doesn't want him to go, but she can't make him stay. He has a life to go to, and she has hers. It was good while it lasted. They kiss one last time and Jay leaves. Sammy watches him going and has to hold in her tears. She's destroyed. She meets Megan to talk and tells her that she loves Jay. Megan doesn't understand why they can't try for a relationship, and Sammy explains that it would be easier for her. She doesn't want to talk to him every day knowing how far from her he is. She can't be with him and not get to hold him, wake up with him and listen to his voice. It's a recipe for heartbreak. Megan understands her reasoning and comforts her. Going back to her silent apartment is hard. She keeps remembering their moments together and it always makes her cry. To make things worse, she told him it would be better if they cut all kinds of communication. Megan tells her to call him, and she does. He never picks up the phone or answers her messages. She starts thinking that he forgot about her already, and it's an awful feeling because she didn't. Her heart breaks anytime she calls him and it goes straight to voice message. She leaves him a voice message, and he doesn't call her back. Days go by like this and Sammy only gets sadder. Her days are bleak and gray. Thinking about Jay hurts. To try and get her mind off things, she goes to a party with Megan. There she meets a handsome guy and they hit it off. The guy takes her to the bathroom and she uses substances while the man touches her inappropriately. Luckily for her, Megan is keeping an eye on her and she notices the man's bad intentions. She goes after them and takes Sammy away from her. It's obvious that her friend isn't well and she's making bad decisions because of that. Sammy finally bursts and cries to Megan that Jay never replied to any of her messages. He completely disappeared and she isn't taking it well. She thought for sure what they had was special, but it wasn't for him. Megan tells her that it's her fault for telling him she didn't want to talk to him anymore and she can't be mad at him for complying with her wishes. Sammy knows it. She feels terrible about her decision to break up with him. In the end, she got her heart broken while trying to prevent it from happening. Later on, when she's at home sober and in a better state of mind, she decides to check Jay's social media. What she sees there obliterates her. There's a post from Jay's mother telling people that Jay, unfortunately, passed away in his apartment after an overdose. He had been struggling for years and he lost the fight. Sam runs to her bathroom when she remembers the day she found out that Jay had messed with her stuff. Sure enough, her drawers are empty. He took all the pills. Sam wants to go with him after finding out that it was partly her fault. She had no idea his addiction was that bad, but she should have seen the red flags the day Billy tried to change his mind about leaving with her. Jay wasn't well. He wasn't healthy and he needed help. He got intoxicated with Sammy and used her as another vice. For a few days, she became his addiction. As soon as he left and went back to his life, that emptiness that followed him everywhere came back in full force. It swallowed him whole and left only memories of him behind. Sammy tries to cope with his passing, but it's hard. She feels sad and guilty. She goes back to the place where he recorded their names on a cactus and remembers his happy smile. She feels as if she's the biggest moron in existence for not realizing that there was something wrong. The fact that he passed alone and she couldn't even say goodbye to him hurts even more. A few days after the discovery, she decides to write a message to his mother to explain that the pills belonged to her. Before she can move any further, someone rings her bell. When she opens the door, there's only a box outside. She remembers Jay asking for her address and quickly opens the box. She starts crying when she sees the content. It's the camera he used to film them so that she had something to remember him by. From the beginning, Jay knew what he was going to do. He felt as if there was no hope left for him, and that's why he decided to spend his days in happiness. Sammy feels blessed and cursed that he chose her to do that. Now, she's in love with him, but their love will never last.